there, my lovelies, and welcome to my BookTube channel, the Sassy Library Fox. My name is V, and today is already the middle of the year, so I think you can already guess what's happening next. Yes, you guessed right. I'm going for the mid-year book freak out tag, or mid-year freak out book tag? I don't know. You know what I mean. Unfortunately, we are currently having a heat wave, so I just had to close all my windows in order to keep the cold in here cold. Haha. It has about 26 degrees in my flat, but it's still less hot than it is outside. And yeah, I got my coffee at the ready, as always. I really should have called this channel something with foxes and books. Anyway, let's not dwell on this, and also not on my bad hair day. My gray hair is getting more and more, and thankfully I will have an appointment at the hairdresser next week, so just 1 week left with the gray hair. I'm honestly thinking about cutting it even shorter than usually, but I don't know if it would fit me, so yeah. If you have any suggestions or if you have feedback for me, please write it down in the comments below. Anyway, let's head to the mid-year freak out book tag. I hope I said that right now. Okay, so here goes nothing. The first question is, best book you've read so far in 2023? And that's actually not an easy one. It's more or less a tie between The Sword of Kagan by M.L. Wang and also, well, I think I read this at the beginning of the year, and it's The Savage Song by V.E. Schwab. And I can't decide between those two. Both books were amazing. Honestly, I think both books would be great as movies. Probably The Savage Song would be even better as a movie. I was at the edge of my seat when I read this book, and it just had everything I loved in a book. August was really such a lovely character, and I really liked Kate too, and it was just, it was amazing. Demons, the fight between good and bad, political intrigue in the city, and good versus bad, and it was so good, and I really loved that one. I can't wait to read book 2 once I manage to get to the library and to borrow it from there. And The Sword of Kagan, I already spoke about this at length in my wrap-up video of May, so that one was great as well. I think those two are definitely the best books I've read so far in 2023. Okay, question number 2. Best sequel you've read so far in 2023. And I gotta be honest here, I did a very poor job at reading sequels in 2023, at least until now. I'm planning to rectify this as soon as I can. I'm just too busy at the moment and don't manage to read all too many books. But if I would have to choose from the couple of sequels I read, it definitely would be Flashfire by T.J. Klune. And this book was so hilarious, and honestly, Nick and Seth are the cutest thing ever. I love all the representation, I love the new superheroes, and I can't wait to pick up book 3. I'm so looking forward to get it, and I really hope my library will have it soon. So far they didn't have it, but as soon as they get it, and as soon as it hits their shelves, I will be there and I will borrow it. So let's see to question number 3. New release you haven't read yet but want to. Okay, this one is easy because it just got out and I recently saw it at the library shelf and I was so tempted to pick it up and to take it with me. And the book I'm talking about is The Sun and the Star by Rick Riordan, and quite honestly, Solangelo. Do I have to say more? I really want to read this book so badly. I was so surprised my library had it, and I was already reaching for it and wanted to take it with me. And then I realized that I still haven't read book 2 of The Trials of Apollo, and then figured I probably would spoil myself if I'd read The Sun and the Star before that. So sadly I returned it into the shelf and picked up book 2 of The Trials of Apollo. So I still want to read book 2 of The Trials of Apollo. I'm so down for this series. I love Apollo, I love his character arc and all the characters in this series, but I'm kind of sad I can't read The Sun and the Star yet. But the good thing is I know my library has it, and once I'm done with The Trials of Apollo, I'll definitely pick that one up. Okay, so question number 4. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. Okay, let me take a sip here. Most anticipated release. Definitely. So definitely Raven Song by T.J. Klune. Because I know it's the second book in the series, and I know there are already copies I could borrow or buy, but the problem is I bought Wolfsong, the new edition, last year in summer, because I didn't know there would be new covers and that the entire series would come out as a new edition. So I bought that one because I was curious about Wolfsong, and then I read it in, I think it was autumn when I read Wolfsong, and I loved it so much. But then I had the problem that I would either continue reading the series with the normal covers we used to have, or that I would wait until all the other special new edition covers would be released. And of course, marketing made it that we have to wait an entire year for each and every single one of them. So yeah, I will have to wait until August 2023 until I can buy Raven Song, which is Gordo's and Mark's story, if I remember correctly, and I honestly can't wait for it to hit the stores. I'm so ready to buy this copy. Honestly, I'm so ready. I want to continue with the series badly. This is going to be a long wait. Okay, so question number 5. Biggest disappointment. Well, quite honestly, it's still Kiss and Tell by Adib Khorram. I love Darius the Great. Darius the Great was such a good book, and I read it at the beginning of the year, and I loved the mental health representation in this. I loved really how the culture was conveyed and how you found out more about Persian culture in this book. And I kind of hoped, or I thought, that the same would happen in Kiss and Tell, but it didn't. And I spoke at length about why this book was a disappointment in my May wrap-up video. So honestly, if you want to do this and if you want to torture yourself by watching my super long explanation why this book was a disappointment, even though it got 3 paws from me, you're welcome to watch it. If you want to avoid a 20-minute explanation, you better skip that one and don't watch it. Well, yeah, so much for that. Let's just head to question number 6. And this is the biggest surprise. And actually, this year so far, the biggest surprise is Our Satyr Prince by Dylan Drakes. And I honestly didn't expect to enjoy this book that much. I mean, I knew Dylan as an author before, and we chatted and we spoke and we talked a lot and we joked and we have this easy banter going on between us. And still, I didn't expect to, I don't know, if you know Dylan and then you read his book is, I don't know how to describe it, but it's different. It's different. It's really different to him as a person, and I didn't expect to love it that much. I'm such a huge fan of Tegra and of Aurelius and also of Calix so far. I'm about 50% into the book, almost 60. So I'm actually still reading the book, but I'm very curious how it will continue and I can't wait to pick up book 2. So that's always a good sign, and I was honestly so surprised about Dylan's writing style and the way he writes and how well everything is developed. Honestly, Dylan put so much effort into this book, and it's a totally interesting and new fantasy world inspired by Greek mythology, and I just love it. Yeah. I think I'm so surprised because I know Dylan as a person, and the way he wrote his book is more serious than he is as a person, but it's really good. It's so good. I can highly recommend reading that book, honestly. Okay, enough of advertisements for our Satyr Prince, and let's just head to question number 7. And question number 7 is: favorite new author, debut or new to you? And I think I will go with Aidan Thomas here. And the book I read by Aidan Thomas is Cemetery Boys. And I really love this book so much. I read it in June and this book was so good. I think it's on the same scale as Felix Ever After from my enjoyment and from the fact that I would throw it at anyone who wants to read it and experience a trans character in a book, because it felt so real, and I loved how binders were involved in the descriptions every once in a while and how Yadriel's life was described, and it was just good. It was amazing representation and I loved it so much. And honestly, Julian and Yadriel, those two boys, they were so cute, so sweet and cute, you have no idea. Honestly, after Felix Ever After, this is the second book I would just throw at people and say, read it. Read it. Cemetery Boys, read it. New favorite, new author. Okay. Question number 8, newest fictional crush. And that definitely would be Sunil from Lovelies. Sunil, I loved Sunil. Sunil is a non-binary character who goes by they, them and he, him pronouns, and I just loved Sunil so much. Sunil was such a mood. I could relate to so many things they said. I don't know, Sunil was great. Honestly, I wouldn't mind dating Sunil. So yeah, definitely newest fictional crush. And interestingly enough, Sunil is actually the first crush I took from a book this year. There weren't a lot of other characters I would have been able to crush on. That's interesting. Never mind. Next question. Question number 9. Newest favorite character. And that would definitely go to Prince Keem from Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. Prince Keem is such a kind and sweet and loving and caring and nourishing person. Also, he's honest and to a fault sometimes. Prince Keem was amazing. Really, Prince Keem is definitely one of my favorite new characters I discovered in 2023, because he is really such a beautiful personality. His personality is just beautiful. I can't say more than that, so definitely favorite new character. Question number 10. Book that made you cry. And here I had to think hard, because 2023 so far has been a quite entertaining year with a lot of books that had serious topics, but they didn't really make me cry. And this answer might surprise you now, But the book that actually made me cry, a lot of tears, and caused me to fall asleep crying, was The Sword of Kagan by M.L. Wang. Because this book, if you read this book, I don't want to spoil anything now, but if you read this book, there will come a scene, and you will know which scene it is, that will make you cry buckets of tears, because it's really hard-hitting. It hurts, it physically hurts to read that scene. So yeah, this book really made me ugly cry. Ugly cry. A fantasy book. Can you imagine? Well, enough of that. Let's head to nicer things with question number 11. And question number 11 is book that made you happy. And well, I think that might be an unexpected answer from me, but it's actually Cutting Your Teeth by Salem McRae. I read this book as an ARC in, I think it was April. I've never heard of the author before, and I was so curious because this book was packed as all for the game meets mafia and vampires. So I was really pumped to read this, and I was not disappointed. Quite the contrary, I was such a happy camper reading this book. I mean, if you loved Over the Game, you will really like those vibes. And I was, as for why it made me so happy, I was so happy to finally find a new obsession, a new couple I could really ship, and the slow burn was really great, and it was just, it made me so happy to finally find a book I could dig my claws into, and to find out that this was even the first book in a series. So the enjoyment was real. It really made me so happy to read this book. You have no idea, or probably you have, because I just can't wipe this grin from my face. Yeah, good. Let's just leave it at that and go to question number 12. Most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. And I think I'm going to show you the book, the most beautiful book I bought this year. And with my coffee, that's not that easy. But it is A Taste of Gold and Iron by Alexandra Rowland. And I mean, look at that gorgeous cover. I mean, the gold letters and the beautiful intricate line here and the couple here, and it's really detailed. There are a lot of details, and the colors and the vibe and how well everything works together. It's really the most beautiful book I bought this year. I didn't buy a lot of books, but aside of the great story that's supposed to be in here, this is definitely the most beautiful book cover I bought this year. I think I bought 4 books or so far, and yeah, most beautiful was definitely A Taste of Gold and Iron. Okay, and I think there's only just one question left, and that's question number 13. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? Well, I think I will go with my long-term projects here, if you want to call them like that. And those would be Winter by Marissa Meyer, Called on the Hawk by Maggie Stiefvater, and last but not least, Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. And those 3 books are, as I already said, long-term projects of mine, because I've read them since last year or since the end of last year, and I really want to finish them by the end of 2023. I honestly hope that I will finish them at least by the end of August, so fingers crossed it will work. It just takes me so long to read those books because 2 of them have more than 800 plus pages, and Call Down the Hawk is a shorter book, but it's by Maggie Stiefvater, and if Maggie Stiefvater's books taught me anything, then it is to read them really slowly, because there are a lot of details and you will miss them if you don't read those books slowly. So I'm trying to soak it up, and this is the reason why I'm so slow. But at the point I'm recording this video, I'm about 50% into all 3 of those books. So I honestly hope that I will be done with at least 1 or 2 of them by the end of August. Fingers crossed. Honestly, fingers crossed. They've been too long on my currently reading, but I'm still enjoying them. I'm just very, very slowly making my way through them. Yeah. Okay, so let's call it a wrap. This was my mid-year freak out book tag, and I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know which kind of books you read in 2023 and how the first half of your year was. If there were books that disappointed you, if there were books that surprised you, if you had a favorite character, just let me know and write it down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your answers to this tag and which kind of books you loved and which you didn't. And well, I'm already at the ending of my video. I guess there's nothing left to say except of take care, stay healthy and safe, and see you around the next time. Bye!